I wanted to speak on a topic about which I had some knowledge, and so I said, what would you think about just a topic, because I had been giving it some thought, of sports, past, present, and future in Memphis, and the impact on our community. See Malvin Gibson back there from the Sports Development Authority. I'm sure you have another name by now, Malvin, but Malvin knows all about sports development in Memphis. And Jana said yes. My Leadership Memphis classmate, Deb Nichols, was kind to follow up and say hi, and then I've had some conversations with Chris. So I decided that sports is not only an interesting topic to talk about, but I think it's worthy of your consideration about the importance of sports to a community. Let me tell you why I think sports is a worthy topic for your consideration, and the importance of sports to a city's culture and to a city's feeling about itself. Within the past year, I have heard magnificent presentations at different venues from Henry Turley about downtown development, and there's never been a more conscientious and committed developer than Henry. And most recently, he's been talking about the Bass Pro, and he had the tour. And for those of you who have, you know, and for those like me who haven't, Henry's word was magnificent. Wow. So downtown's going. I've heard a presentation from Dr. Scott Morris and Todd Richardson about the new crosstown crossing that used to be the Sears Tower and that vertical village, and we're all going to be so proud. I heard Bob Loeb talk about the redevelopment of Overton Square, and we're already all so proud about that. Heard Steve Bears talk about the Bioworks and how many jobs that the Bioworks has spun off, all things that make us proud. And then, of course, I've heard these great research doctors from St. Jude talk about the miracle of almost eliminating childhood cancers right here in our hometown. We all love Le Bonheur and what they're doing, and I've learned that the doctors at Le Bonheur do many of the surgeries for the St. Jude patients. There are so many things that we have get on our knees proud for of having in Memphis. But let me share this one story with you. Last year, during the NFL playoffs, the NFC championship was between Green Bay and Seattle. You NFL fans will know the game was played in Seattle, and Seattle won and then lost the Super Bowl to New England, of course, on that last-second interception. During the third quarter of that game, they showed a shot of Green Bay, Wisconsin, from a blimp or a helicopter. And I'm here to tell you that there was not one vehicle moving on the road in Green Bay, Wisconsin. There was not one pedestrian on the street. Now, I know that Memphis is a more cosmopolitan area and a much larger area than Green Bay, but I do think that sports has the potential to have that kind of impact. But I've never been one to buy into it's your civic obligation to support sporting endeavors or much of anything. We all work hard for our money. You do what you can to support your family. But many of us who lived in Memphis in the mid-'60s and for the next 10 years really felt proud that we had something as prestigious as a well-recognized bowl game. And we would have tailgate parties, and we would have pregame parties, and we would rent buses, Henry Brenner remembers, and we would go to those games. We froze our rear end off many times, but we would go to those games. Maybe we thought in the back of our mind it was a civic obligation, but it wasn't. It was just something that we were so proud to be in the big leagues of college football, if you will. The Liberty Bowl was recognized throughout the country as one of the finest stadiums. They absolutely copied it in Tampa Bay, sight lines and everything. And, you know, so we were proud to have that. Tennis was just now starting to take hold. Golf, the PGA Tour event, now has moved from the old, now I'm going to move up a few years, 1972, the new Colonial Country Club out in Countrywood opened, and the professional PGA Tour event moved to the new Colonial out there. And that's, of course, where Al Geiberger shot the first 59 on the PGA Tour, and President Gerald Ford in the Pro-Am made a hole-in-one. So Memphis was starting to get some national notoriety about its sports. And I, for one, was very proud, you know, to be a Memphian, because I did think sports was important. Was sports as important as St. Jude researchers saving children from cancer? Not in the least. But was it important to the culture of a city? I said yes.